Alright everybody, I have just spent the last week or so playing with my new box of eBay purchased Lego, assorted Legos, and I have three things I made that I think are pretty cool. The first, okay, I had this, and I'm still not convinced this is actually a Lego, but it could be. I think it might be a soccer ball. And so I was inspired by the recent game Rocket League, where you basically play soccer with cars. And I built this little doozy here. Um, I don't have a lot of these, so I got to use those as both the parts and part of the engine. Um, it's not really built for minifigs because there are no minifigs with this set, but I thought it was cute. The big problem whenever you do one of these found assorted parts, or making a kit out of assorted parts, is matching up the colors, and this is a really good example of how badly that can go. But the cool thing is, if I come up with something neat and I really like it, I can always go into my bigger set and find something else. So I don't know. This was kind of quick and easy, fun. These wheels don't really match, and this one doesn't quite turn because it's slightly bigger than that one. But these do, and it's got the rim similar to that Porsche kit we made a few weeks ago. Not bad. I don't know what kind of engine this is. Maybe it's one of those time machine engines, like from Back to the Future. But fun, quick and easy, not too hard. I also made I'm calling this a brain bot. This is similar to some other stuff I've seen from Lego, where I just basically took one of the captain's life preservers and just added a bunch of robotic arms to it. I had this piece here, which I've never had before, which is kind of neat. And for some reason, I had a skull minifig head. So I figured, what the heck, I'll make this is my brain bot. It just runs around thinking and doing stuff, and it can grab things with its many arms, so I wouldn't mess with it. But like I said, this is just me messing around. Let me get to the good stuff. This first one is, so if you recall, I said I have these really cool old school wheels, the original wheels, which I've got a bunch in my personal collection, and these right here. And I really wanted to use these, but unfortunately, I only had two of the wheels, and only one of them had a tire, and these tires are impossible to get. So I couldn't do that, but I still wanted to somehow incorporate this into a kit. So instead, I made an aircraft right here, using the wheel there. The nice thing about these wheels is it's actually got Lego bumps on it, so you can actually make it. You might wonder why I went with this is based on the World War II Corsair used by the American military in the Pacific. And actually, the ones in the Pacific, the wings fold up so it can go on board the aircraft carrier. But people always think that this gull design somehow makes it fly better, but in truth, this had a kind of an underpowered engine, and so they made the propeller huge. But in order to get the propeller high enough off the ground, they actually bent the wings to bring the propeller higher up off the ground. It's kind of cool. I'm really proud of this, and this is what I spent a lot of time on. And of course that comes undone. But I have the cockpit. My first instinct was to build, a spacecraft of some kind, but I wanted to build a plane because I have the propeller. I put the little angry eye there because that's what they used to do. Is they used to paint shark faces on the Corsairs with the eye right about there, which is kind of cool. If I were to redo this, I would replace these hinges here with the locking hinges, which there were some in here. I just didn't get around to it. I had, again, more of these. I tried to make it look like, it's not really, you can't really see out of it. But I'm going to call this a really good, I'm really pleased. I'm very, very proud of this. I think it came out really well. Again, there are a lot of things I would change with access to my full kit. It's funny, whenever I do one of these, you can always tell the exact moment when I get frustrated and just kind of rush it, because the tail assembly is just basically, a slant, an angled piece with a little, it's not even great. Like there are 10 different ways I could do it better. And again, given time and inclination, I would do so. Turns out I had two of these wings here, or two of these wheel sets that are from aircraft, and I had two of these. I could use one of these as a rudder, but I actually realized if I use one of these angled hinges here and here, I could get exactly the way it's set up in real life. So A plus. Again, colors look horrible. Can't help it. That's the nature of when you take a handful of Legos and try to make something out of it. You get weird colors. It doesn't really work. Again, this is a pretty good design though. I might actually redo this with the locking hinges, get some real propellers. I kind of like these on the side, and this came with the box set I got from eBay. You know, a lot of curves. Threw in a lot of stuff in here that I don't normally mess around with. So I'm going to give myself an A on this one. And then finally, the last thing I built, and this is actually based on an older design I used to make all the time. It is a robot, of course, fully articulated. It's got a cute little face that I made. Every joint moves the way a human joint would. I'm always particularly pleased with what I do for the hips, which is my own design, where it's not even a hinge, but rather just a single locking bump, which allows it to move as it will. But you can see, and this moves. Now again, you can always spot the point where I get frustrated and bored and just like I'm done, and that's when the feet. But I was having a really hard time finding. I like to use a smaller plate, smaller angled plate than this, and these were pretty much all I had left. So, you know, I had to go with it. The hands are really good. You'll notice they each have 2 fingers and a thumb, so they could actually grab something. It's not the best locked in. I usually use, there's a specific part that I use a lot in when I'm building my own robots. It's like looks like a little mini bike rack, but if you turn it sideways, you can actually put 2 locking fingers on one side and a thumb on the other, and it comes out really good. This hand is not quite as good because I was running out of parts, and you'll notice that these parts here are part of that the Meccano stuff, and they're not really jointed the way these fingers are. So the left hand's better than the right. But again, I got to use some cool parts, you know, little bits here. This is basically the grill from the classic cars. You know, these are those locking hinges. I actually used these on this before I did the airplane. So this is the locking hinges I would use on those airplane wings were I to do that. So, I mean, this is a great design of my own. I'm actually really proud of it. I like it a lot. It will stand up. The one thing is I was trying to get really clever. You'll notice that the hip joint here is that ball and socket that I got with them, and unfortunately it doesn't have the tension. I could probably fix it with some rubber bands maybe, but on my own designs I get really good luck. I either use a hinge with a fifth wheel, or I've had great luck using 4 of the pistons crisscross, and they'll actually, you know what, I'll pull one of my robots out or do it up proper, and show you how it works. But it works really well. It gives you really good movement in the waist. But again, you can always just take, like, this is not really a fifth wheel, but it's similar. I've got a couple of these, and you take one of these and you mount a hinge under it or on top of it, and all of a sudden you've got a fully articulated hip. It just doesn't work with the spine. But yeah, no, I thought this was a decent job given the limited resources that I had with all these parts. And of course, I still have tons of parts left over. But, you know, at some point, you get to the point. I mean, I thought about building a house and building some other, but really basic stuff. But I mean, I don't know. For me, Lego, the cleverness is in things like this, where you get, you know, all these joints going. And again, given the resources of my main kit, I might be able to do a much better job than this, but this is actually a pretty good effort for what we have. I used to play this game that I made up with Legos, with dice, and a lot of robots fought to the death. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm going to say this was a lot of fun. I got to spend all week, every evening, kind of messing around for a little while, and, you know, got to build a little brain bot. Yeah, I can't complain. This was a well worth the $60 or so I spent on it. And now I've got a whole bunch of cool parts that I never had, a whole bunch of parts that I have, but I can always use more. I don't know. This kit was more about getting weird colors I've never had before, like this purple and fuchsia, and all this is all from the Friends stuff. And the Friends kit. Oh, I've been peeling the stickers off. You know what? You've seen my. I don't like the stickers. I don't like putting them on. I'll keep them on for a kit I have, but for some random little girl set. Not that I'm trying to assign gender to Legos or any of those kits. Yeah, I'm sure a boy could easily enjoy these as well. But nevertheless, so it's about getting different colors that I would normally not have in this particular set. There's just a lot of interesting colors that, I just don't get a lot of. That's it. Next week, I'll be back to building another regular kit. I am going to start looking at showing you some of my some of the hardcore stuff I've done myself out of my own kit, but it's honestly, most of that stuff's pretty buried, and who knows when I'll have the time or the energy to actually sort it all out. I think that was from one of the Western kits. I don't remember what it was for, but I remember building this a long time ago. Not in this one, obviously, but anyway. That's it. Please like and subscribe. This was a bit more creative than most of the stuff I've done so far, so I'm kind of pleased. Tell your friends, anyone who's into Lego, I'm happy. And again, and by the way, if somebody has a particular kit they'd love to see get assembled, I will do so. I'm trying to steer clear of the really big sets because those could be like 6-hour videos and have to split it up. However, I'm not afraid of them. I might get a big set. There's a big Harley Davidson model kit that I think is beautiful and I've been eyeballing for a while. So, but if you have any requests or suggestions, please send them my way via comments. And I thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.